Yeah, I think it's impossible to achieve better performance when these girls are not even fueled enough for one session. I've been dealing with one athlete, and she was eating maybe 3 pieces of bread like in the morning, and then 6 hours nothing, and just maybe an apple before training, and then they were doing 1.5 hours intervals. And I don't know, it's insane, like.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Wise Nutrition Podcast. My goal here is to help you fuel your body properly so you can lose excess weight, improve your performance, and all that without obsessing about food and falling for diet fads. If you also want to figure out what to eat, how much to eat so you can get into your best shape while maximizing your energy, apply for personal nutrition coaching at danweiss.eu/apply. That is danweiss.eu/apply. Or, click the link down in the description. My guest today is Tina Šparovec from the Human Performance Center in Slovenia, and she is a nutritionist who works with female athletes and women who need help correcting their hormones and menstrual cycle. She also works with female athletes to improve their performance through adjustments in their nutrition and training. And we speak about specifics of female physiology and their training and nutrition needs. We also speak about relative energy deficiency, which is a rising problem in endurance and weight class athletes, but also in active female population. So that means those women who are not athletes but allowed to move and exercise, quite a lot. In the previous episodes with Matt Bach, we also spoke about the relative energy deficiency, but in male athletes. So that might be also worth your time and checking it out. Just to refresh your memory, what relative energy deficiency is. It is a state when athlete or person does not fuel their body properly, and most often they don't even know about it. And it is especially common among endurance athletes or aesthetic athletes, or specifically in female population. Some of the symptoms and issues with that are increased fatigue, decreased recovery and performance, muscle loss, frequent injuries like stress fractures caused by low bone density, resistance to fat loss and even fat gain, and loss of periods, libido, and even infertility. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and here is Tina.
So I'm Tina Šparovec, and I'm coming from Slovenia, and I am a nutritionist, basically. I studied nutrition and biomedicine in Munich, in Germany, and then now I'm proceeding with my PhD at um, at gynecology and obstetrics, which doesn't deal much with nutrition, but it does deal with hormones, which is very interesting. So, and as a side project now, we are opening Human Performance Center with 3 colleagues of mine. And there I'm mostly doing with female athletes who need nutrition support around their training, and just like through the training cycle. I am also dealing with girls, with women that have problems with menstrual cycle disturbances and the absence of the cycle. And I do this through coaching, like just being there for them, listening to them, and giving them advices. Because this, I've seen, it's a big problem right now that everyone wants to have a perfect body, but actually there are many consequences on health that comes with it. So yeah, that would be about me, about my business side. But I can also talk about my hobbies, which is like um, doing many different sports and just enjoying life and nature as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And we actually spoke beforehand on Instagram. That's basically how we connected. And uh,
Yeah,
just like you said, it's very interesting topic, like female athletes and female athlete triad, and dealing with all these nuances of females, right? So,
yeah.
like you said, it's a topic that, in my eyes or in my view, emerged this year or maybe last year, when some women from Nike and also from other uh, running clubs started speaking about their problems that they had regarding, overtraining, undereating, and being treated in a wrong way. So
Hmm.
I think that it is an important topic to handle. So why do you believe, or how did you actually get to this topic, and why did you get interested in it? Because there are many topics like sports nutrition in also other realms of nutrition.
Yeah, it started just by being very interested in nutrition, and about in sports nutrition. But then, you read more and more, and yeah, articles like this from Nike comes up. But I also knew about the problems before because I was dealing with those problems, and nobody could help me, except like research papers and like articles online and some books. So I started to read more and more, and also came across female athletes that were dealing with those problems. Like there is the whole group on Facebook about, like, not just athletes, just normal girls that were starting to do, I don't know, CrossFit, started running for marathon, and they didn't have any clue about the proper nutrition, and they faced those problems with having no period, or it's called hypothalamic amenorrhea, or having bone fractures because they were not having the period and their bones were very brittle. Um, yeah, so it's very important that we start to educate like nutrition people that dealing with nutrition coaches, trainers that are dealing with girls on the daily basis. Because I came across an athlete and she said, "Yeah, my coach just pushed me onto the diet because I needed to lose weight to be faster, but nobody knew about the consequences." And then she had to end up her career at her 20, in I think she was 22 or something, because she had so many, like, a stress fracture, and had to um, skip a few seasons, and then her potential was gone. So it's basically we are trying to make them better when they are very young, so at around 20s, but then those athletes don't last long. So we have to start to make a good base with the athletes and to allow them to develop properly at their puberty to reach those peak bone mass, and then to train them like according to what they need, so that we don't harm their health and that they are not like rubbish at 23 because they have so many like injuries and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Well,
I
I
think you
totally
would agree,
resonate
right?
with the story that you shared right now, because I had girls in my practice just like that, and coaches
Yeah.
were pushing them, and you want to be faster, so you need to be leaner or eat less and whatever. And there is a like athlete in her 20s who is eating about like 1,200 calories a day, and basically she has no education about nutrition, but she just was given that meal plan, right? And so she trusts her
Yeah.
coach, and she follows it, and she feels like really terrible. She doesn't have any energy. She's losing her period, like you mentioned, and
Hmm.
not performing. And then there is this cycle that coach is demanding better performance from her on top of that.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to achieve better performance when you cannot, when these girls are not even fueled enough for one session, you know. I've been dealing with one athlete, and she was eating maybe 3 pieces of bread like in the morning, and then 6 hours nothing, and just maybe an apple before training, and then they were doing 1.5 hours intervals. And I don't know, this is it's insane. Like, or they just tell them, okay, yeah, just eat salad after your training because you need to lose a bit weight. But then, like, as soon as you start doing it, the performance just decreases. And yeah, that's sad. And if we start like teaching those coaches that no, like, go search help with the nutrition at the nutritionist, like proper nutritionist who knows how much you need, and not like 12,000 calories or something. I mean, yeah, 1,200 calories or something, because that's not enough. Yeah, they need like to work with people that really know what to do, like yourself, right?
Hopefully. and where do you think is the like core of the issue? Because now we are speaking about coaches, right? Because they
Yeah,
maybe know their training, they might not know or often don't know much about nutrition. But even if I think about it, these coaches, they don't train only girls usually, right? They
yeah,
also train, let's say, guys, and to guys they wouldn't say like eat 1200 calories.
yeah. I think it's the problems that they don't really understand the female physiology. So they should learn about the basics. I mean, some things are obvious, like girls, when they reach their puberty, they are not as fast as male guys. And also girls, they start to gain like fat around hips, and their body composition changes, their shape changes because of the influence of the hormones. And the guys just get like better and better because they are having this huge amount of testosterone running around their body. And they get like lean gains, they get faster, they get like the bones get stronger, and they get all the goods, right? And that's why they are like telling, yeah, guys need to eat a lot because they're growing, they have lots of muscle, but like women, you just gain fat, you're probably already eating enough. So this is, yeah, I think that's how it goes. But on the other hand, I also have to blame like social media, because all those everything that those girls see, like the athletes, are like ripped bodies of like world renowned like athletes, but they might be ripped just at the top season, like maybe 1 month when they have this important competition, and the rest of the year they're just like normal. But what we see is just this abs and ripped body, like 0% of fat, and that's like what everyone wants, and that's also to blame. So
Yeah, I completely
there are
agree
two
with the
reasons.
social media and this whole fitness industry, which is terrible.
Yeah.
And I also think that, what I see in practice is that, for example, there comes a girl or a man, doesn't matter, and they are afraid to eat carbs because
Hmm.
they follow somebody on social media who doesn't eat carbs, and they eat a lot of protein, and uh, they try to mimic that kind of diet. And now I'm speaking about one specific example that I have in mind. And I was speaking with that girl, and I asked her, okay, but who is this person that you are speaking about that has this high protein and low carbohydrate? Is it a bodybuilder? Yes. But okay, he is a bodybuilder, he is not a runner.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
the
it's
context is
it's
very important, and I see that a general public or a athlete or a person who wants to get better uh, don't consider context.
yeah, also, yeah, good point.
So let's speak about this. What do you think, or what do you see to be like the prevalence of these issues um, in the women or in females? Like,
What do you mean?
what kind of percentage are we speaking about? Like, what percentage of female athletes or non-athletes have these issues?
Do you mean these issues with disturbed hormonal balance and relative energy deficiency in sport and so on? I think in female athletes, it must be like around 50%. I mean, it depends in which sport. For sure, like track athletes, cyclists, ballots, they are really like um, sports at risk because it's very important to be lean, as they say, and yeah, there is a lot also disordered eating and stuff like that, and that's why these sports are.
And you also mentioned like that you work, for example, with women that, for just try to do CrossFit because they want to look better or do maybe some other kinds of sports. So what about this demographic?
Yeah, yeah, I get like some were just cycling like a couple of times per week, but didn't know how to fuel properly. Um, some are just doing some CrossFit, not even every day, or doing it for like on amateur level, just for fun, they say. But you get it, like actually also problem like also women who are obese and try to lose weight too fast, they get disturbances in menstrual cycle. So also with those you have to be a bit careful so that they don't start losing the weight too fast. But still, you have to monitor their menstrual cycle to see if they're really still like on the health line, like on the healthier side. Um, yeah, so here weight doesn't even matter that much. It matters how the nutritional status, so the energy status of a woman.
Yeah, definitely. And when we are speaking about that, uh, you started or you mentioned hormonal disbalances, right? But I think that
Yeah.
hormonal disbalances is like advanced condition. So, what other conditions can a female athlete notice about herself? For example, that there is something starting to happen.
Okay, so actually, this hormonal disbalance, like the absence of the period or hypoestrogenism, it happens actually very quickly, and it's one of the first signs that you get when you are like dealing with energy deficiency or too much sport or just too much mental stress. So that happens actually very fast. And together with it, you get many things that are associated with this energy deficiency. You have problems like in metabolism, problems in thermoregulation. So those women that are on the diet, they get cold very fast, like they're cold all the time. Then they have like the blood picture, like it looks not that healthy anymore. So they have problems with white blood cell count. They can even have like high cholesterol levels, even though they're dieting and not eating enough. They have gut issues. So I see many times that or I've seen it before, that girl came and just like, yeah, I started dieting, but then I got like problems with gut, and then I start to exclude different groups like dairy and um, gluten, and like then you get even less and less nutritious food because of it. Like, okay, I don't say um, that it's very important to I mean, you can live without dairy products or meat and like vegans, but it's just this, that you start to then obsessively exclude all the food groups that are very important. For example, at the end you end up just eating vegan, gluten-free, and low fat, and but without I don't know, some very important nutrients because you cannot digest that. But it's basically can be the consequences of just this and like relative energy deficiency, as it's called. Um,
Interesting.
yeah,
I haven't heard about this connection between relative energy
yeah,
deficiency and gut issues, actually.
yeah.
But
Like
but
imagine your gut doesn't have enough energy to digest very well, so you get like bloating and everything. And then like you think, oh, I'm intolerant to something, but basically it's just your gut
and I can
trying
imagine
to
how it
control.
also plays into the psychology of the person because now, okay, I'm bloating, so I want to eat less, and like you said,
Yeah, yeah,
restrict even more and go like gluten free, then uh, vegan, then raw vegan, and then what?
yeah, 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 sure. Yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah.
Mhm. So, how do you handle these cases with people? What should this person do when they start noticing these things? Because, well, they don't have their hormonal panel, right? Right,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like going to the doctor to have the blood checked up, to have the levels of the hormones checked up. Um, I would advise you to come and talk with me because it's not just about nutrition, it's also like mental. And it's nice that you talk with somebody about like that somebody listens to you and gives you then advice because it can be different to like it can be very personally. um, but yeah, definitely like then to start eating more, to reduce like sport, or even like give up sport at all and just be at peace, like find new hobbies, just reduce the mental stress. And yeah, then you just have to eat enough and wait, just so that your body starts to sensing, there is more energy available, I can like perform my basic functions that I need to perform. And then yeah, also the period should return.
Mhm. What time frame are we actually speaking about? I know that this would depend probably on how um, stressed the person was and how severe the condition was, but can you give us a general
Yeah,
idea?
yeah, of course. I mean, if you really start to like, let's say, behave very well and do everything as you should, so like really no sport, eating a lot, then it's like on average 6 months. So some they got it in the first month, some they have to wait a bit longer. But the more you do sport and keep to your previous lifestyle, the longer it will take. And I think I've seen girls that start, okay, I will do like I will still do sport twice a week and so on. But then after 6 months, they didn't get the period and they were just so tired and fed up because they had to like constantly motivate themselves to not give up about this like recovery. And they just say, okay, I will from now on just lay on the couch and do nothing. And then they recovered very fast. So
Hmm. And I see where there is a big benefit of having somebody to speak with, to counsel with. So I guess all of this can be done online.
yeah, yeah, online. I mean, for somebody that lives near me, also in person, but I think online is just it just works.
Because what I see the biggest problem is that this person or this kind of athlete or female would be afraid of gaining weight, right? And so advice to move less and eat more uh, would be very hard to chew.
Oh yeah, of course. Like when you do a sport, when you train a sport, you really relate. You are this sport, so you are an athlete. And then, like when you start this recovery, you're no longer an athlete, and then you have to eat more. You have to do the things that you were afraid of before. And I think this really, like, it can be very stressful and like mentally very hard journey. But and you really have to decide to go this way. So somebody cannot force you to just go. So it's sort of like similar to an eating disorder, of course. So even like searching for psychologist or psychiatrist is advisable if you have more problems with eating and so. But just that somebody tells you like what to do, like to give you instructions, is where I come into play.
Thank you. And so, what advice can we get to females regarding their nutrition or eating in general? Is there like a difference between female and male body, or their nutritional needs, or what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, women are of course smaller. I mean, we have smaller heart, smaller lungs, and of course, the general advice is that we need less calories, but we don't like, we still have to eat according to what our body needs and what our physical activity needs. So, like, if we do long endurance run, we need to eat more, and it comes very handy that like athletes know how much they have to eat before training, how much their training will take from the body, and to fuel that before you're able to then do the workout properly. Yeah. What was the second part?
hmm So, like, if there is a difference between fueling for men and male and female, so you said that uh, women have probably, or in most cases, lower nutritional needs, like when it comes to the energy. But maybe is there like a differences in maybe macronutrients or maybe some vitamins and minerals that they need to get or should get?
I mean, yeah, because of the menstrual cycle, we have to be careful about some micronutrients, but let's talk about macronutrients. So, for sure, a very bad idea for women is to go on something low carb, keto, especially if they are endurance athletes, because, of course, first of all, you have to fuel your workouts, and their carbohydrates are really essential in the long run. And then like our brain, it senses the amount of energy via sensing glucose and leptin and everything. And if we have low energy availability, so constantly some low blood sugar and stuff like that, then these hormonal problems will occur. So I wouldn't recommend going like low carb as on the long term. You can do this nutritional periodization, it's called, when you have some days when they're like you eat less carbs because you don't need them because your training is not that hard or something, but that's not like 1 month straight keto or something. That's like very varies from on a day-to-day basis, or even like hour to hour, stuff like that. um, but and yeah, then protein, of course, this is something that's very, like, I would say fixed. Like day-to-day variation in protein intake, it's I don't I'm not sure if it should vary. So if in my nutrition plan it doesn't vary so at all. And then fats, of course, they are very important also for like female hormones production and stuff like that. So it's not something that you would like exclude totally. So we have to make sure also about the like healthy fats, but that for sure doesn't mean like snacking on nuts all the time or something. um, yeah.
Yes, and I remember, I think yesterday I saw on your Instagram there was you shared some screenshot, I think from one of your
Yeah.
clients that mentioned like, I'm eating pasta on my non-training day.
Yeah, I think like also some athletes, they are very very like cautious about how much carbohydrates they eat. And then like for her, she told, yeah, that she was never eating pasta before, um, on a rest day, only when she had very hard training day, and this was for me like a victory, because she was very afraid to eat pasta on the day when she's resting, and yeah, good for her.
Yeah, these are like for somebody it might seem like a small victory, but really this is a big leap when it comes to mindset and breaking these barriers.
Yeah, it's important. For some it's very important to go just day by day and just to encourage them. Yeah, like this day, try to eat something that you love to eat from before, like a cake or a bag of chips, or because they're just don't have this healthy relationship with food, like they're afraid of things. And I mean, okay, it's good to eat healthy, of course. Like, let's not underestimate this, like eating whole food healthy, but it's not healthy when it becomes like obsessive, like I shouldn't eat pasta that day because I'm not doing anything, or when you punish yourself, like you shouldn't eat pasta because you didn't burn 300 calories during this workout or something like that. Or just, I'm not going to eat outside because they're going to eat pasta, and today's like, and they will eat, and the pasta will be prepared with cream, and I'm not allowed cream and stuff like that. Just it's mental. It becomes really mental, and yeah. So
I
for
think
her, this was a big deal.
yeah, I think Georgie Fear actually made a great point in her book, Give Yourself More. I don't know if you read it, but
Oh no. Okay.
I really recommend it to you. And this is toward or for women, and not specifically like athletes, but for everyday women and how they are restrictive in that sense. And one of the chapters was also about these food rewards. And
Hmm.
just like you said, that would be like a negative example. Like I would work out and then I reward myself with food, or I work out so I can eat carbs, or
Hmm.
anything like that. On the other hand, also rewarding yourself with food is basically not a good thing in that sense. I mean, you should eat because it's food and you like it or something like that, but not to reward yourself specifically with it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, some people, they use it as a reward. Like sometimes it's not bad, it's just bad when it's like obsessive. Like, of course, like you don't have special food like all the time, and when you do, like, I don't know, pass the exam and then you go for like something special, it should be more like to make the occasion special, not to just have the food as special thing on that day. So you know
Right.
the context.
That's exactly what she wrote about that. Enjoy the experience or focus on the experience rather than food and experiencing the food. I really recommend everybody who is listening to read that book. If you are, doesn't matter, male or female, it's a really great book, and it goes really deep into that topic of basically, I don't even how to describe it, but being in peace with food.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what about the other things that athletes in general or people in general do? Like, for example, what comes up a lot is intermittent fasting and fasted workouts. So is there a difference, for example, how female body reacts to that? Like fasted workouts, for example, they want to burn more fat, and so they do like hard cardio sessions in the morning, then they don't eat, then they start with lunch and maybe have sweet cravings in the evening.
Okay, so yeah, let's just structure this. So there is definitely a difference between the athletes and the like normal population and the population of obese people. So I don't particularly care how the obese population wants to lose weight, if intermittent fasting is helping them, okay, and now let's leave the population of obese. And then you have the normal population that actually don't need to lose weight or is like healthy. And then we have to ask, like, why would they do the intermittent fasting? What's the reason to skip the breakfast or skip the dinner? Like, okay, if they're staying healthy, I don't care. They just don't like to eat breakfast. It's wrong to force them to eat breakfast and to tell them that it's something very healthy. If they like work on it and function without breakfast, it's fine. But for the athletes, um, because I think that when the trainings are very intense, they already like struggle to eat enough. And then when you introduce intermittent fasting, when you have only like 8 hours to eat that all food, oof, that's really hard. And I think,
I can
okay,
second
maybe
that.
if you do it once per week or twice per week, maybe it's not even that bad. But if you're doing it like every day, I think, and every day having training and then waiting after training to eat, that's I don't think it comes under like, I don't think that's a good thing. And like, okay, I don't particularly have anything against the fasted training as long as it's not done too often and not too intensive. So, like 1 hour easy ride jogging might be already too intensive because it's more intensive than just cycling. And then if you eat straight after, okay, maybe you have some minor performance gains, but you cannot do like very intensive training intervals and you don't then get this proper adaptations to it, and like gains after training. But yeah, I mean, one day per week shouldn't be too bad. And then you have women, um, which like we are already like relying so much on burning fat, so especially around ovulation and in the luteal phase. By the way, to get the basics on the menstrual cycle, please visit our webpage where I wrote all of this. So those that are missing some basics, please do that,
Okay,
and then you
I
will
will put
understand better.
I will put the link below in the description section.
Yeah. So we are already relying on burning fat as a like main source. And then I don't know if it makes sense to even do those trainings faster to even improve that. Um, while we could have like better adaptations to training when we were do like proper fueling. Um, yeah, that's just maybe my opinion, but I think many of the people would agree with me.
Because
Um,
I know, for example, I am pretty sure that you know Stacy Sims, for example.
yeah, I know
Hmm.
her.
And that's
I do not necessarily agree with her on every point, but
yeah,
um,
sure.
yeah, she's very against this training fasted. But I like I don't think it like hurts if you do it once per week or once every 2 weeks, but definitely not in like very intensive block season, like at the peak season, because it's very like it takes a while to regenerate from that training if you do it fasted because of all the stress hormones, etc. But maybe in the like beginning of the season, I mean, um, but still, your coach should know um, better. So your coach should know what's the goal of the session. So you cannot do just every session fasted, but it has to have like some meaning why you do it fasted. And yeah, with females, very careful about it. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, when you mentioned the cycle, should actually training change or nutrition change around the cycle?
Okay, let's deal with nutrition first. So if you're an athlete, there, let's how to say it, there should be some, you should be cautious a bit, and careful a bit about the carbohydrate intake around the training session according to each cycle, because during some parts of the cycle, your liver and muscle, they don't want to give away the glucose for the work required. They rely more on burning fat, and the problem is, if you have to do this high intensity training, this might be the factor that will influence your training. So you will not be able to reach this peak intensity, this peak speed or power if you're cycling. And yeah, if you deal the proper way, like with nutrition, with carbohydrates, if you eat more carbohydrates, then you could like reduce that effect. And yeah, I think if you're somebody that's has regular menstrual cycle then and training, then maybe you should like also pay attention to that, because I mean, usually I speak with some athletes and say, no, like menstrual cycle has no effect on my performance. But then I go and check what they're doing. And then, okay, yeah, but here it might be effect because that day was hot and she didn't eat enough. And then and she was in that cycle phase. And yeah, this might have an effect. So people are just not aware that there is an effect, and this should, and they just like, today I couldn't reach high intensity, but she didn't think maybe she was in this luteal phase where she cannot reach high intensities without having like extra sugar in her drink or extra sugar in her pocket to eat. Yeah, so they just don't know.
No, but what you mentioned, like that no, it doesn't affect me, and this is the kind of things that people who don't closely track their trainings and everything, they just go by feeling, then they can make that mistake. That's what
Yeah,
I see,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
but I feel good, yes. Or my effort is like 9 out of 10, and yesterday it was 9 out of 10, and 1 month ago it was 9 out of 10. But you see completely different results.
yeah. I think it's sometimes hard to go by effort here, because yeah, also in this luteal phase, the perceived effort might be changed. So, and then if you go just by effort, I mean, you feel that you're doing the same effort, but just the performance is like way worse. So we are like, I try to collaborate as much as possible with coaches and just to tell them, hey, like in this phase, she might have this and that, and just maybe like um, monitor her training and just do some changes about her training to make her training better and to like just have better progress. Does it make sense?
Yeah, definitely. So that's like educating, and that's also what I do with my female clients to have a journal for their period and
Hmm.
how they feel, how they perform, so they uh, let's say observe how they react in these different stages.
Yeah, I think that's very good. Yeah.
So we covered, I think, both nutrition and training right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about it like forever, because there are also some other stuff that you have to like pay attention, like if it's hot, if it's cold, if it's humid, etc. So here there are many variables that affect female performance. So um, yeah, but I think yeah, for the beginning, that's it.
Yeah, I think this would be like for elite athletes, I would say. Maybe we can do another episode that will be specifically about these specific things
Yeah,
like
yeah, sure.
temperature and during the cycle and going
Yeah, sure.
deeper into those variations.
Sure,
So
sure.
I think, Tina, that we provided some good information. So just let's wrap it up. what do you see to be like to wrap it up, the most important points for females to take away from listening to this podcast?
Okay, so for females, you should definitely track your menstrual cycle. If you're not tracking your menstrual cycle, start now. It's never too late. You will learn so much about your body, how it reacts to some nutrition, how it reacts to training. Um, yeah, I think it's very interesting just to see like through the year how like if there are some changes. Um, and there's the second thing, for coaches and nutritionists, you should start like teaching your clients to track their menstrual cycle so that you will know about their health, about their nutrition status, about their training, because it gives you like an like number one insight of how this person is like dealing with all the training and everything. So because she will instantly notice if the training block was too intensive, if she wasn't eating enough, if like even before you do a blood check, you will see that on the menstrual cycle. So that's like the most effective way to track your clients. Yeah.
And what about maybe some fun part? Like, what's your favorite food?
Huh, my favorite food.
You can pick more than
Wow.
one.
Okay, so one is number one. I probably is pizza. So this Napoli style pizza. I was
Oh,
in Italy 1 month ago, and I was eating pizza every day. So that. Secondly,
so
I
many
don't know.
carbs.
So yeah, just carbs. I live on carbs. I train, so I have to eat all the carbs. And here in Austria, there is one dessert that's called Germknödel, and it's like bread but cooked on a like on a steamed like dumpling
Is it
with
like, yeah,
filling inside.
dumpling
Oh my
something?
god, yes, that's so good.
Is it filled?
Yeah, it's filled with plum jam. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah, very
we have
good.
something similar here. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty popular also. I really like it, but I don't eat it normally.
Uh-huh.
So pizza and dumplings.
Yes.
Okay, Tina. So um, I would like to give you some space to close this. And where can people find you, or is there anything that you would like to add?
No,
Maybe
I
say
think
hello to
we
your mother.
no, I think we covered up. So for more information, like yeah, please link the page below. Um, yeah, the last time I was having a podcast for one of our my friends, then lots of girls they contacted me because of all the problems with menstrual cycle and menstrual cycle loss, and yeah, so maybe I will achieve something similar here. So I hope that girls will start to talk more openly about it, about the problems that they're dealing, and yeah, so feel free to contact me.
Yeah, definitely. And you will find all these links in the description, or maybe if you
Yeah.
are, I don't know, wherever you are listening or watching this. Okay, Tina, thank you very much for your time and for your um, expertise on these things and
Yeah.
for sharing with us. And I believe that we will see ourselves or we will meet again.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. This was really fun.
Oh, thank you very much. You have a great day.